The year is 2008. Much like many other young folks, you're spending your summer days lurking on forums, downloading viruses, and playing the finest of video games. One forum you frequent in particular is hypergm.net, a niche collective of fellow web dwellers who all have a passion for one particular game, the massively multiplayer online experience known as Gorgon's Garden. A game beloved by this small community, but one which has been completely inaccessible for years due to the introduction of a forced paywall only passed by the use of a digital currency. Microsoft points, Wii points, it was all the rage back in the day to mask your gaming purchases through lightly coloured fake money. But the problem is when the means to acquire said fake money shuts down due to inactivity, anything that requires it is by proxy completely unusable. All is not lost though. The forum's resident hacker, known only to us as the Red Pig, has finally found a way to circumvent this, removing the need for a fake currency entirely from the game. Now you and everyone else can finally delve into the depths of Gorgon's Garden and find what is awaiting you. This is the hook for the 2025 indie game Gorgon's Garden, a meta-retro throwback horror title made in a week as a collaboration between developers Squup and Fever Dream Johnny. Names you may recognize from titles like Super Pion Pop, the as of yet unreleased Nowhere Am I, and the game that introduced me to this little corner of the indie gaming sphere, Orbo's Odyssey. A title so out there and so immaculate that it may just be one of the best games I've played all year, no funny. All of that is to say that I adore the work these two have produced independent of each other, and all of it is worth checking out, especially Gorgon's Garden. This game is such a unique little oddity that perfectly showcases the styles and sensibilities both of these creators have, and the best part of all is that it's completely free to download and enjoy. So before I head any deeper on the inner workings of the game, I want to implore you to go ahead and play the thing for yourself and then come back. There is a link in the description, and the game's twists and turns work so much better if you experience them for yourself blind. If you don't want to do that and you're going to watch anyway, then I hereby award you with the badge of shithead. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules around here, that's just what you are now. The game opens on a desktop computer. You seem to have your setup in a kitchen for some reason, and you're also a vampire. On the desktop there are a litany of available icons. Some are just simple things like settings and an option to quit. Funny hamster. But the most important to us are Gorgon and the forum. Starting out by heading into the game, we're asked to create a little character and give them a name before being thrown into the archaic yet charming controls and opening area to the MMO. Welcome, emissary of the living. We need your help. Led by the Gorgon, rampant spirits have endangered the city of lost souls. You're the only one who can banish them. Alright, you don't have to tell me twice. Just tell me where the endless murder and XP farming is. Oh. We hope you enjoyed this demo. Please head to our website to buy a premium membership with beans. I knew this was coming, but I thought they'd at least let me squash a couple little demons. With nothing left to do, you close the game and head to the forums for help, only to find that this is no simple interaction. The forum is fully fleshed out, really nailing the way these old communities used to operate. You've got the overly enthusiastic, the furries, the kid far too young to be there, the older one that takes himself way too seriously, the illiterate. There is a lot written here, many of the posts even featuring files you can download and view for extra immersion, amongst other things.
Free curses for everyone!
And it's all perfectly offbeat and genuinely funny. Shoutouts to Ticklebug Jr. and Ticklebug Sr., the ultimate dynamic duo, and I really hope we get a paperback of The Strange Case of Peter Parsnip, or I can't leave this mortal coil satisfied. Scrolling amongst the posts, we eventually get to what we came here for.
Alright everyone, I have successfully finished my cracker for Gorgon's Garden. Hold your applause. Firstly, yes, this completely strips out that stupid-ass beans currency from the game. Secondly, you will need to get a copy of Gorgon's Garden authentically. Yes, I know I wrote a cracker, and if we're being real, that means I'm skating around the law again, but I'd rather not go back to jail for some IP theft shit again. Anyway, if you're ready to have some fun, click here. Have fun, my piggies.
Never call me that again. Downloading the cracker, we get the finest Red Pig production I have ever laid eyes upon and successfully break through the paywall in the game. Thank you for purchasing your premium membership. Your membership will last years. Heading through, we reach the City of Lost Souls, where we're introduced to our first selection of vermin to dispose of. These red guys, these shy little ones, and fucking hell. Despite the whimsy, there are a few odd elements here. For one, you and everyone else are absolutely puny. The city itself is awfully dingy. Rubbish strewn all over, graffiti caking the walls, and some truly perplexing additions. Like this statue that appears a couple times. The statue is a real one, known as the Sleeping Lady, a piece found in the pits of the Hypogeum in House Afflieni, theorized to represent a mother goddess. And now that I think about it, Hypogeum is the name of the forum all this has sprung from. Looking into its origins, the Hypogeum is an underground burial complex located in Malta, littered with evidence of civilization dating back thousands of years, but which is now an abandoned husk. Nobody there to call it home anymore, drawing many parallels to the digital equivalent of a forgotten world once thriving, but now out of sight, empty. This all goes together to give a very tangible sense of being out of place, finding somewhere you were not meant to inhabit, somewhere completely and utterly forgotten by time. You run around sucking the XP out of countless enemies until you reach a high enough level to walk through this large, imposing entryway to the game's next area, the Glendite Dungeon, a sprawling maze of overgrown ruins teeming with yet more enemies to mindlessly slaughter. It's also here where we meet the delightfully designed Stromboli.
Are you here to banish the spirits too? Well, good luck. This place is a maze. My ancient, just absolutely decrepit old teacher once taught me, those who observe carefully can find a way forward. Of course, he got stuck in a pipe and died, but the point still stands.
The funniest part is Stromboli is lying. You can find the teacher alive and still stuck, and you can even free him from his pipe confinement.
Missionary of the surface world, my damnable apprentice Stromboli has abandoned me in a time of need. If you would, could you free me? Thank you.
Powering through and getting lost time and time again because I have the object permanence of a goldfish with brainworms, it all becomes almost numbing. As you crush foe after foe, you fall into a rhythm with it all. The gameplay quickly becomes second nature as the background track to the area loops over and over again, until soon enough, you find your way to the Gorgon's garden. The music is gone and replaced by a foreboding ambience, and before you stands what seems to be the Gorgon, a tall, imposing figure shrouded in red leaves and rotting bark. Text appears in the chat box claiming you have slain the beast, and then, heading back to the single frame of an error message, we get the following.
I lie still, folded between two blankets. I wait for someone to disentangle me, but nobody comes. Jamie? Dylan? Help me, please. So much water is pouring in, smothering me. I get the blanket off my face, but I can't see anything. A pinprick of something darker than dark carves through.
Reopening the game, we are in a new area, Skyrave. An island floating in a dark blue void coated in gigantic eyes, watching you. Even with the Gorgon slain, her spirit remains, influencing the minds of lesser souls. A sacred plan is needed to put an end to the curse once and for all. The island seems to stretch out further, but we are blocked off, prompted for a password. It seems like this is it. We are left with yet another wall and our quest unfinished. So...
Today's snack time, we're heading back to everybody's favourite small nondescript English town to sample a delicacy that, while it may not damage my liver, may still kill me. It's called a parmo, and it consists of chicken covered in cheese sauce, then covered in cheese, and that cheese is cooked on top of the cheese sauce, and then your organs shut down. It's mostly a thing in the north of England, but I'm from the Midlands, and I've never had a parmo. But you know what they say, it's better late than never, so let's go ahead and take a bite. Hooey, that sure looks nuclear. I think I'm 35 now. After trying and failing to consume the parmo and somehow surviving the whole endeavour, I've got to say, it was pretty good. Not that I'd ever have one again, because I kind of like living. At the moment. But I'd still give it 4.75 reform voters out of 5. Here's to snack time, and here's to 2025. Join me next time when I find a new rock bottom 3 times lower than the one I thought I had.
I guess it's time to head to the forum.
So I used the Cracker TRP uploaded yesterday. Worked really good, but I noticed after grinding for a few hours to get to the Skygrave that there's this big effing door now. Red Pig, did you add this?
Ah, yes. So the developers were facing some backlash over the whole microtransactions thing and decided to be dicks and make it impossible to progress through Skygrave unless you ask them for a code. I suppose there's no harm in going for a treasure hunt, though. Maybe we can find an answer somewhere?
You don't do this for a second, don't be coy.
I'm as big of a fan of EAGs as the next person, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of this maid.
Green, blue, red, blue, pink, green, pink, blue, red, pink.
Eh? What are you on about?
I'm seeing colors when I close my eye.
It turns out, underneath every post by the Red Pig is a link to his own personal website. Upon opening it, it seems like nothing more than a pounding barrage of horrible noise and flailing GIFs, and that's what I thought at first too. But going back to the animation show's vision, the colors they talk about match the colors of the GIFs on the pig's website. And when punching them in the correct order, a new file is added to the desktop. Opening it gives us... I guess we have our password. Blanket. A word referenced in that single frame command line window, tying the post, the pig, and the password directly to whatever this is. Heading back to the game, we are allowed through to the rest of Skygrave, where we immediately begin the loop of killing silly little guys and farming XP, as if trying to put you at ease, saying, forget about that other stuff, blankets, hey, just kill these things, or your level went up. Yet despite the new characters, the numerous graves with funny little epitaphs, it only takes a turn to the skies and a glimpse of the ominous molten red planet in the distance to put you right back in the headspace of the room with the Gorgon. No matter what the game tries to tell you, things are fundamentally different now. You've stared too deeply into the depths of the garden, and now you can only plunge deeper. Eventually, after battling your way through the horde, you finally find the sacred pin.
Arm yourself with the sacred pin, blanketed in the tears of the Watchers, and free this world.
There's that word again, ever present, ever reminding you of itself. Walking up the altar amongst a circle of giant graves, the game flips out, sounding almost as if screaming at you for your decision. It crashes, and you see your wallpaper has been changed to a floating dismembered arm in a void of faces. The arm giving context to the magic word text document. What seemed like a red smear of pixels is now clearly a recreation of this arm, as if taunting you. Reopening the game, a number of changes have occurred. You are now in an area known as the Black Iron Chapel. Your health, max magic points, and level are all frozen at 1998. The XP bar simply reads goodbye, and lastly, your name is different. Whatever you chose to be before, you're only Dylan now. A name reached out to in the hidden command line window from way back when. The chapel is a spinning, nauseating world of flesh filled with countless faces watching your every move. The area is filled with these red amalgams of barely living things that whisper and attack you. Upon killing them, they explode into gore and scream out in pain. It's really odd because despite the drastic turn the game has taken, these guys still have a twinge of that humor from before. As if, even though you're in a hell of your own making, underneath it all, these things were once as bouncy and cute as the creatures miles above them. You eventually make it out of this area, only to be jump scared by cool-ass free cursing. You trudge on until making it to the Field of Dreams. Before you is what looks like a gigantic, all-seeing dark red eye, or at least a monument of one. In front of it, countless statues of hands grabbing at a sky they will never reach. In the center of the area is a large, empty gateway to nothing, and a gravestone.
Blanketed in shadow, the temple only shows itself to those who recede into it.
It took me an embarrassing amount of time to realize that this is literal. The next level only becomes accessible if you walk backwards into the gateway, if you recede into it, which in all fairness is an incredibly cool visual, another of the many this game has. Don't ask me how long it took me to figure out. There's actually a really funny hint you can find on the forum by the animation show. I don't know how this kid knows everything, but god damn, can that boy work pivot stick figure anime. Also, I just want to mention that this whole game, there's the reflection of the room you're in, and this part right here, this weird ass blob looks ever so slightly like a really weird puffed out face, and it kept catching me off guard the whole time. No idea if that was intentional or if I'm starting to lose it, but kudos to it either way. After receding through the gateway, we enter underneath, a never-ending wide field with distant mountains. Chat messages quickly begin appearing in the corner.
Nerves are dying. Soon the arm cannot be reattached. Remaining time until cell death. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 5, 3, 2, 1, 0. The Minotaur stalks the labyrinth.
For a free, under 2 hour silly little retro throwback, that was one of the most effective scares I have seen in a long time. That hit me harder than anything in games with 50,000 times the budget. It harkens back to some of my favourite what the fuck scares from these kind of games. But you know, Fever Dream Johnny does have experience with this.
No, I don't like it. No! Get the fuck out!
Heading back to the game, you're now in a place called Hometown. The layout is similar to the City of Lost Souls, although heavily distorted and warped. And after all this time, another player joins, the Red Pig, finally dropping the veil.
I'm glad I could finally reach out to you. In my own way, I guess. It's unbelievable. It had to come to this. First you cut me out of your life, then I tried to reach out to you online, and you pushed me away there too. So eventually, the game was all I had left. The only place I knew you wouldn't expect me. I could never believe you abandoning me like that. Forced me to explain to my mom and dad what happened to Kyle. You're a fucking coward, you know that? Pathetic. The longer I was away from you, the more I began to hate you, loathe you. You could just cut this out of your life, leave me to pick up what's left, just like that night.
Eventually, all of the maddening walls of flesh come to a sudden stop. We are back to vegetation and wilderness.
Kyle, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we lost you. And I'm so sorry Dylan failed you. Failed me. Failed everyone who loved you.
A floating arm, the same as the wallpaper, emerges from the darkness. With nothing left, you walk up to it. The game crashes one final time. Heading back in, the player is placed in a black void. Shooting out magic reveals that there are walls. You are trapped in a small box. Forever. Going to the forum, there are a couple last secrets to find. There's a post titled "Wish You Were Here" under the blanket, obscured in a glitched mess. The post is a wall of random numbers, even further distorted, and the replies are in line with this community.
Oh, I've seen this.
There's a link on the post. Clicking it downloads a file simply titled 1998. Opening it reveals a photo of an arm amongst a mess of red and black chicken scratch. Heading to the forum again one last time shows a post pinned to the board. Goodbye, Dylan. The post has only a link, heredylan.pdf. It's added to the desktop and contains the following. June 13th, 1998. Breaking news. Tragedy strikes. Young teen missing, presumed dead. Last night, most would have assumed nothing out of the ordinary, barring a thin wind chill uncharacteristic of early summer. Nonetheless, Kyle Castanelli, a local teen, was spirited away in the night, leaving nothing but an arm in his wake. The other two boys involved in the incident claimed that it was the result of a joke gone wrong. They had gone out to the woods with Kyle with the intent of playing a prank, the blanket game. As the legend is known, involves heading away from civilization with nothing more than a blanket and a bottle of water, and under the right circumstances claims that once the game is done, the recipient will be whisked away to places unknown. As for the disappearance of Castanelli, authorities claimed that the incident was likely the result of an animal attack, explaining the dismembered arm and disappearance of Castanelli's body. Skeptics, however, point out that the arm's shoulder is curiously fused shut, as though it came fully formed, without a body. This whole time, everything you've experienced has been a carefully constructed ruse, a path preordained for you by a figure from your past. Despite the option to customize and name yourself whatever you like at the beginning, you cannot escape who you truly are. No matter what you put, the game has always been from the perspective of Dylan, who has spent the last decade running from the grief caused by an incident involving him, his friend Jamie, and the loss of another, Kyle. And after seemingly escaping from the truth, all this time later, Jamie returns under an alias to catch you, pin you down, and make you look at what you did. how you and Jamie set into motion a series of events that whisked Kyle away. Alive or dead, it doesn't matter. It was your fault. This game is fucking awesome. It manages to take the tropes of the recent litany of this game I found projects and subvert them effortlessly. In the first half of the game, it seems painfully obvious that the whole thing is going to devolve into the whole soul trapped in the confines of an abandoned game thing as per usual with something like this. But then the abrupt, absolute gut punch of an ending completely recontextualizes everything you saw previous to it. The strange occurrences, these single-frame blips, and increasingly blatant hints as to what Dylan has been desperately trying to move on from, it's no ghost, it's just Jamie. A man tormented with guilt and rage, fucking with you and rubbing your nose in what he sees as your fault. A really down-to-earth and grounded direction to take this kind of story. Not that the whole thing is lacking in supernatural elements, the newspaper article at the end and the vagueness of Jamie's statements point to a potentially otherworldly fate for our dear Kyle. And the best part is the complete and utter lack of resolution. The game presents a story that bathes in mystery until right at the very end, where it seems to completely clarify itself, but it doesn't. It leaves behind enough nagging oddities and questions to plague the player's mind, a mere taste of the constant gnawing guilt eating away at Jamie for the events that transpired. And if this disappearance is potentially the result of the supernatural, then maybe this isn't as grounded as initially presented. Maybe not everything here was Jamie's doing after all. Maybe Kyle is still waiting to be found. The whole thing is just so expertly done. When I hopped into this one, I was expecting essentially a quirky and fun little proof of concept, as when you bill a game as being made in a week as one of the first things you read about it, that tempers my expectations to small scale. But the absolute masterclass of tightrope balancing between offbeat comedy, surreal world design, and soul-crushing storytelling is something that is so hard to pull off well, and when it's pulled off properly, most players won't even notice it, so I have to commend the complete nailing of it here. Frankly, I can't fucking wait to see what these two cook up next, whether it's a collaboration or whatever comes down the individual pipelines. I know that either way, I'm a fan for the foreseeable future, and when it comes to balancing the wacky with the upsetting in a world that is far, far deeper than the surface would appear, this is only a taste compared to Johnny's other projects. But that is a tale for another night. See you next year.